Alright boys, believe it or not, mental toughness is actually a skill, which means that you can get better at it. And in this video, I'm going to take you through the 3 secrets to actually getting more mentally tough. And the first one that I want to start off with right now is to go through hard times. So if you're somebody that's been through some really difficult times, or perhaps something that's even been pretty traumatic, I'm going to say something that sounds pretty weird actually. And that is that you should be grateful for that, because if you know how to use those hard times as fuel, you're literally going to be able to achieve greatness. You might have heard the expression before, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Or you might have heard that tough times create tough men. And I'm an absolute massive believer in both of those statements. And let me tell you a little story. So when I initially broke up with my ex a couple of years ago, I found it really difficult, like emotionally. I remember like just being so upset, and I remember for days and days I was just thinking like, what is wrong with me? Just like, get a grip, Myron. And I couldn't. You know, it was, my emotions were all over the place. But then what I discovered was that I could actually use this pain. I could actually use the suffering that I'm going through right now to fuel me. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up using everything that I was going through in that moment to actually decide to take boxing more seriously. And that's where I decided, you know what, I'm actually gonna jump in the ring and have some proper fights myself. I'm no longer just gonna be sparring in the gym with my friends and, you know, my club mates. Like, I'm actually gonna fight against another man from a different club. And, you know, I was able to do that. You know, I ended up having 2 fights in the end. I lost the first one, won the second one, and it was literally, I'd say both fights, I learned so much about myself from, and I really believe they've set me up for life in terms of my confidence and my discipline. I learned so much about myself from doing them things, and that's all because I was able to go through some hard times and use those hard times to fuel me. And another thing that I really used to struggle with, like, to be honest with you, when I was a young boy, was the fact that my sister has special needs. And I have talked about this on my channel before a little bit. But yeah, when I was about, 15, growing up to about 20 years old, something like that, when I was a teenager, I used to really struggle with the fact that I knew my sister had special needs. It used to make me really emotional. I used to think, oh, I just wish I could communicate with her as I am with you and as I do with my friends. And I couldn't do that. And it used to really upset me. But then one day I just realized, like, Jesus, man, she is so special to me, and she's given me this kind of gift to allow me to be the best brother that I possibly can be, so that I can support her in every single way possible, and that I can support my family in every way possible. And I really truly believe that this thing that I used to struggle with so much in the past has molded me into the man that I am today. I wouldn't be a man that takes risks. I wouldn't be a man that's out here in Thailand right now. I wouldn't have done the boxing fights. I wouldn't be making YouTube videos, because I would just be happy to settle for less. I wouldn't have a purpose to work towards. And that's exactly what I'm trying to pass on to you as a message. Because what's interesting is I know full well that I'm not the only one that's gone through some tough times, and everybody's gone through their own different stories. Everyone's had their own different tough times. In fact, one of my clients earlier was telling me, I was on a call with him, and he was explaining how for like the majority of his life, he's always felt like the odd one out. He's always felt like a little bit weird, and like he can't communicate with people effectively. But after I was able to explain to him exactly what I've just explained to you, that it's actually something we should be grateful for, to feel different, to go through a difficult time, he actually started to feel more empowered. He felt like, for the first time in his life, like he literally said this to me, like for the first time in the past 10 years, he's actually felt empowered. He actually feels like he can use this pain to succeed with his life. And honestly, it was such an amazing feeling for me and him, of course. Now, the second thing that I would suggest that you do is actually to make life even harder for yourself. So obviously I've just explained the first point, but on top of that, if you have gone through some traumatic things, and even if you haven't, I think you should always be choosing the harder option over the easy option. You don't want to be choosing comfort, right? So let me just put this into perspective for you. So at every single moment of every single day, like literally every single moment, like even right now, you have 2 options. The first option is that you can take a step back and you can move back into your comfort zone. And the second option is that you can move forwards and that you can take a step towards being out of your comfort zone. And if you are somebody that's willing to just take one step away from that comfort zone every single day, you are somebody that's just naturally going to become mentally tough. And I know it might sound so obvious now I've said it to you, but sometimes you just kind of need somebody to explain it before you can kind of like understand it in your own head. And of course, this is just something you're going to have to be conscious with. Excuse me, just need to wipe my face because I'm just profusely sweating. It's just boiling. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I was actually in my room back in England, in my parents' house, and I was just working away on my computer, and I'd just been having this kind of overwhelming sensation for quite a while that I was living too comfortably. I wasn't getting out of my comfort zone enough, and I just had this intrinsic feeling within me that I needed to get out and I needed to do something that I'd never done before, and that was to come here and move to Thailand. I just felt like I needed to give myself a bit of a rite of passage, if you like. I really did. I felt like I had to move out of my comfort zone for me to get to the next stage in my life and for me to grow into, more of a man, essentially. And I'll be the first to tell you, I was absolutely shitting myself. Thailand in Asia, essentially, right? I've never been anywhere like this in my life. The culture's different, the people are very different, everything is so much different compared to life back at home in England. In the West, everything is so different over there. So coming here was completely new for me. But I'm a big believer in saying that fortune favors the brave. I truly believe that this is going to make me mentally tougher. Well, in fact, I know it has done. It just has. I mean, I've come here to Thailand. Like, what else can I say? I know full well that there are many people that wouldn't be willing to do that. But if you are, or if you are even thinking about taking some kind of risk, you need to take it. You need to take that step out of your comfort zone. Trust me, it's going to be a fantastic habit for you to carry on with for the rest of your life. Now, moving on to number 3, another way that you can increase your mental toughness is by brain dumping. And I really love that word, but essentially brain dumping is a form of journaling, and what it kind of entails is that you'll get a pen, you'll get a piece of paper, you'll get a journal, whatever you want, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to get the pen, you're going to put it on the paper, and you're going to write exactly what's in your mind. And that's why it's called a brain dump, because you are basically trying to get rid of all the shit that's in your head and dumping it straight onto that paper. So all of the negative thoughts that you have, all of the doubts that you have, you want to get it onto that piece of paper. And if you are able to get into a habit of doing this, you are very quickly going to start to realize how all of the thoughts that you have in your head, all of the doubts, all of the negativity that's constantly circling around in your head, everything that you tell yourself on a daily basis that makes you not believe in yourself, you're going to look at the piece of the paper and you're going to see everything you've written down, and you're going to think, why am I thinking that? Why are those thoughts in my head? And you're very going to quickly realize that that's all it is. They're just thoughts. The reason you don't believe in yourself is because the thoughts you are having are negative, right? And that's fine. It's very common for that to happen. I get negative thoughts on a daily basis. Everybody does, right? But it's just about recognizing that they're just thoughts, and that thoughts aren't always the truth. Once again, I want to talk about my client that I spoke to a little bit earlier, because it truly, like, from the bottom of my fucking heart, man, like, it actually pains me to know that there are people out there that don't truly believe in themselves, because I know exactly how that feels, man. Like, I really do. I've been there. Throughout the majority of my life, I've struggled with belief in myself, and I still have that now. But with these 3 secrets, especially the brain dumping thing, when you write down your thoughts onto paper and you're able to see them for what they really are, you can start to think like your brain kind of plays tricks on you. And then you start to learn that these thoughts aren't real. Like, there's no reason for why I can't believe in myself. And if you can have negative thoughts, then you can absolutely transition your mind into having positive thoughts. And I was able to do that. As I said, I still get negative thoughts sometimes, but for the most part, I'm a real big believer in myself. My self-perception is high, I'm confident, I'm disciplined, and that's because I do these things on a regular basis. Now, of course, consistency is extremely, extremely important. And if you're somebody that's maybe struggling with that, right? All the secrets that I've just told you, all 3 of those secrets, you know about them. But if you're somebody that actually struggles to stay consistent, maybe you need somebody to kind of hold you accountable, and maybe you need a bit more guidance, I would highly suggest that you check out the Modern Day Warrior program in the description below, because I literally designed this program to help young men go from feeling absolutely useless and powerless to feeling and looking unstoppable, right? And the aim is to do this in less than 90 days. That's exactly why I've designed this program, because I've known exactly how it feels to make that transition myself, and to go from that place of feeling like shit and to actually feeling unstoppable and feeling confident and feeling like I can achieve everything. And you know, there's already guys that I'm sort of trying to help and support at the moment, and you know, they're actually seeing some really great results, and I'd love the same for you. Of course, you don't have to invest in this, that meaning that yes, it is a paid program, because you know, you can continue to watch my videos on YouTube for free, and they'll always be free on here, and I will continue to put as much information and guidance in the videos as possible. But if you're somebody that just kind of is fed up and you want to speed run this entire transitioning process, then that's what I'd suggest you do, my friend. I hope you found this video somewhat valuable. I'll see you in the next one. Believe you can, and you're more than halfway there.